On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man movie line from the Sandman series. Today, we're going to be looking at Venom. Personally, I think Venom shouldn't have even been in Spider-Man 3. And I've said this actually to a couple of friends of mine when we've talked about it. If you ask me, I think what they should have done was at the very end of Spider-Man 2, they should have had the symbiote come down from the sky and attach itself to Spider-Man's scooter, as he's driving away. And, as he's driving away. And then at the very end of Spider-Man 2 is when the symbiote should have been crawling up his leg and then latch itself onto him. So by Spider-Man 3, I think the entire Spider-Man 3 should have just been Spider-Man in his black costume. So you could see, any amount of time could have elapsed. We don't know as the viewing audience. He could have had the costume on for a couple of weeks, could have had it for a couple of months. But I think the entire Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man should have been in his black costume. And he should have lost it at the end of Spider-Man 3, and he should have, and then maybe Venom could have been teased at the very end of Spider-Man 3 to be the villain of Spider-Man 4. That's really what I think should have happened. I totally rushed in this movie. By the time we see Venom, he's gone. He's only in it for 5-10 minutes. It's a bit of a shame. Again, much like the Sandman figures, or the Sandman figure from this line, the original Venom figure was released in like a 4.5-5-inch scale. Really disappointing that they went with that line. Very close to picking it up, although it was more of a purple color. It was completely off color for a Venom. Almost picked it up. I ended up not picking it up though, but luckily they released Venom in a more Marvel Legends scale size. They finally released him in this figure, and one of the figures I picked up, he was the very first, maybe the second figure I picked up was the Venom. As you can see, limited movie edition. You got several pictures of Venom. Topher Grace, I know a lot of people didn't like his Venom either. I think he would have been fine, but just, again, way too rushed. On the back of the package, the other figures in this wave are Mary Jane, New Goblin, Doc Ock, we got Green Goblin, Spider-Man, Venom, black-suited Spider-Man, and finally Sandman. You can collect all 8 figures, build the mess of a figure known as Sandman. Read up on Venom says, Eddie Brock can't remember the moment at which he went crazy. He was a normal man once, maybe with a surplus of anger, but never a killer. The symbiote changed him, made him somehow more stronger, faster, smarter, more angry. It gave him claws and the will to use them. It took his rage to the man who destroyed them both, Spider-Man, and it made it potent, powerful, murderous. As Venom, he's got all the fighting skills and high-flying talents of Spider-Man. As Venom, he's got one goal, the destruction of Spider-Man. Also didn't like the fact that they rushed Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. They didn't really give enough reason, personally, for him to hate Spider-Man as much as they did, or Peter Parker. Again, had they really had Spider-Man in his black costume from the beginning of the movie, completely through to the very end of the movie, you could have slowly developed the character of Eddie Brock, so that by the time Spider-Man 4 came around, Eddie Brock was now Venom. But no, they rushed it, which I think really ruined it. Real name, Eddie Brock. Occupation, photographer. Power, super strength, web spinning, enhanced reflexes. Nose, here we go. Pan it up again. Zooming in. Nose. Everything about Spider-Man. No one, is that a question again? Gets in his way. Weakness. Sound waves. Nose. Everything about Spider-Man. No one gets in his way. I don't even want to comment on that. There's packaging though on Venom. He looks nice. I think he looks like a great figure, and I'm hoping that's going to continue on when I get the figure out of the package. The only way we're going to find out, though, is we're going to get this package to open up. We will have a better look at Venom. Stay tuned. And if you're following along, oh, there goes Venom. If you're following along the pieces that come with each figure, and you got yourself a little personal checklist, first of all, I'm even sorry the fact that you would have a checklist, because that means you would have also bought these figures. But if you are collecting these figures, such as I have, the piece that Venom comes with is the other arm. We'll bring it in right now. The other arm of Sandman. We'll just snap it into place. And there we've got... oh, there we've got Sandman. The only thing missing is his head. So, yeah. Move that out of the way. We'll pick up poor Venom. I think he knew where it was going. I was going to bring out the piece of Sandman. He didn't want to see it. I don't blame him. I've really crapped on this entire line of figures. I really have. Some figures have been better than others. The Sandman wasn't too bad. Yeah, it could have been better. They've used two figures that have already come out in the past, and whether they've retooled them ever so slightly, I'm not quite sure, with the Goblin and Doc Ock. We've had some figures that, if you ask me, are complete passes, like the Mary Jane. And then we've had disappointing figures, like the black costume Spider-Man and the original costume Spider-Man. So overall, I mean, I've said bad things about this whole line. And I actually have to stop, just kind of take a moment, and I really have to appreciate how nice this Venom figure is. This Venom figure more than makes up for the fact that the other figures were as bad as they were. I'll give you guys a close-up look of the face here. They've done a great job actually on the face of Venom. I don't believe this is a larger scale to the original 5-inch Venom. I think this is a new mold altogether. Got a little bit of hair on his leg here. The coloring is nice. It's not the lighter gray that the Spider-Man was. In fact, I'll move Venom out of the way. I'll bring in the black costume Spider-Man just to kind of give you guys a comparison here. As you can see, Spider-Man, by comparison, really looks light in color. He's got this light gray. Almost seems really washed out versus the Venom. Scale is really nice too. Granted, you know, the scale isn't like that in the movie. They're more, I mean, they're pretty much the same height in the movie. But I like the fact that they could have easily taken this body, as messed up as it is, they could have easily taken this figure and slapped on a smaller version of this head, and there we had Venom. And even that would have still been a nice figure, but I like the fact that they went with a larger body, much more over proportioned than what he was in the movie, much broader in the upper torso, which I really like. But the paint, I think, is really nice. That is what I was talking about. I mentioned earlier in the reviews that Spider-Man, I didn't like his black costume because it just looked like a black and white version of the original costume. This is kind of more or less what I'm talking about. It would have been nice if the Spider-Man costume, when he had the symbiote, kind of just looked like it had this tar kind of laid over it, where it's this nice shiny black. I think it would have looked a lot nicer than really what it ended up being. But I really like this Venom. I really like him quite a bit. In the way of his articulation, he has the full ball-jointed head. He has the ball-jointed shoulders. You can rotate the bicep, 2 points of articulation in the elbow. You can rotate the hand as well as bend it. He has the mid-torso articulation, which isn't bad articulation. Certainly nothing like the original costume Spider-Man. No waist articulation, but he has the articulation in the leg. You can rotate the thigh, 2 points of articulation in the knee. You can also rotate the foot, bend it up and down. So he has a lot of articulation. He's got weird feet, though. Really small, chubby feet. But, I mean, that is the only gripe I could make about this figure. This figure to me is like a bad relationship. You go out with a girl, everything goes wrong with it, it's not what you thought it would be, you break up horribly, yeah, you still think about her, but every time you think about it, you just think about the bad memories you guys had, the bad experiences, the soured love, and then you meet a new girl, or a new guy, you know, depending on what sex you are. You meet someone new, they seem very similar to the girl or the person that you went out with before, but they're perfect, you know, and you think to yourself, wow, you know, this is nothing like the crappy relationship I had before. I can really see that there's other options out there. That's what this Venom is, other options. Great figure. This Venom, I'm going to give an 8 to, and definitely makes up for the poor figures that were before it. I do really, really like it. Well worth picking up. If you can pick up any figure from the Spider-Man line, this is the figure to get. So I'm going to give an 8 to Venom, and that was a toy spot on the Marvel Legends Spider-Man movie line. Today we were looking at Venom, a breath of fresh air. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned. There's one more figure left, and I'll see you guys next time.